All right, we're going to get started. Today we'll cover how to simplify your indirect budgeting process. First, I'm going to introduce our speakers. We have Matt Gualtieri. He's our financial subject matter expert. He comes with over 20 years of experience working with Fortune 500 companies of many different industries. He leads the delivery of Saturn Infotech projects. He works on the assessment cycle through design and the end result. And he's also been a former CFO himself, so played a key role in our CXO advisory. And then we have Sriram Sharma, our senior EPM architect. He comes with 10 years of experience in technical configuration and delivery of Oracle Hyperion products. He's a certified expert in Oracle planning, S-base, and technical infrastructure requirements. Lastly, we have Shreyash Krishna. He's our senior EPM systems analyst. He's an Oracle certified implementation specialist with 6 years of experience in technical configuration and delivery of Oracle Hyperion products. And then lastly is myself. I'm the marketing manager of Saturn Infotech. On today's agenda, we'll start by telling you about Saturn. Then we'll introduce the indirect budgeting process and how to set up the PBCS application. Then we'll go over one of Saturn's customer case studies and provide a live demo of PBCS from our technical expert, Shreya. And at the end, I'll open it up for a Q&A session. A bit about Saturn Infotech. We're a BI, EPM, Big Data, and Cloud specialized Oracle Platinum partner. We're made up of client advisors, solution architects, and Hyperion certified specialists. Our clients range from mid-market to Fortune 500 companies of all trades, and Saturn's been recognized as one of the fastest growing companies in America by Inc. 500 magazine. Here's a wheel of Saturn's solutions and offerings. As you can see, not only do we provide EPM and BI implementation of software, but a full wheel of professional and support services, including product upgrades, enhancements, and performance optimizations. Our EPM services and solutions are on the left side of the wheel, and on the right side, you can see our planning, budgeting, and cloud solutions, including our BICS services and pre-bill analytics for different industries. We're also one of the only companies that have our own analytics lab on the East Coast. These are all of Saturn's locations. Saturn is headquartered just outside of Philadelphia, and we have offices as far north as Boston, all the way down to Atlanta and Miami. We have over 250 subject experts globally with coverage in nearly every U.S. state. These are some of Saturn's clients. Now I'll hand it off to Matt Gualtieri.
Good afternoon, everyone. Basically, this slide kind of gives you a picture of cloud in an enterprise ecosystem, and it shows you how some organizations mix and match different product types and different business scenarios that they have to kind of integrate a lot of their information to present a comprehensive view of their financial information. So the area that we're primarily in is the business application area, and also integration between ERP and other source systems. When we talk about the planning cycle process, each industry has its own set of challenges, but typically in a scenario like this, everybody starts off around the, if you're on a calendar year end, they start off in September, do run rates, look at the information. Sometime, between January and March, you throw your budgets into the reporting system just so you can have a comparison. A lot of the information is inaccurate. So what you're looking at here is how these are pushed down and why some of those disconnects occur. So you have a high-level profit and loss usually brought from top to the bottom, and then they roll the information up, and then they find out that the detail doesn't match the top, and never the twain shall meet. So whenever we talk about planning considerations, one, it's important to know what drives our business. What are those drivers that we need? Not only the cost drivers, which are the obvious like headcount and those type of things, but also revenue drivers as well. So they can form a combination of a couple of different things or multitude of things based on financial and non-financial criteria. What's important is to understand how to set up those planning dimensions so that your planning dimensions kind of link into your financial reporting and provide context to your business. You have a disconnected operational plan with your legal plan and the detail underneath. Finally, understanding how those are derived, centralizing them, providing some transparency, and reporting those actuals versus plan and or forecast. Introduction to indirect budgeting. Indirect budgeting is a little bit tricky for some people because it never really just starts at indirect budgeting. These are back office support people, finance, IT, accounting. These individuals do not directly provide any services to the production of a product or producing of a good, but they do provide support to the organization. So there are some typical iterations and or concerns that we have when we do this. How is it going to be spread across the operating segments? How do we look at this? How do we determine what our hurdle rates are going to be and cover those costs? So the initial setup for an application there's several prerequisites. One, we have to know what we want to collect, what is relevant. So typically from an employee data file, for anybody that use ADP, UltiPro, or any other service provider out there, they can usually provide you a lot of earning code information that helps you tie it into a departmental cost and or a segment cost and derive some values based on that. Based on your benefits, you can develop these drivers. Then you load the information. That's your starting point, how we're going to add people, what labor category are they going to be attached to, are they non-exempt versus exempt, and then finally we review these numbers. So new hire budgeting can take forms in several different ways. Some of the challenges that you'll see in the marketplace is, is it a new hire because of workforce expansion because we're growing, or is it a new hire based on who we're replacing or a critical need within the organization? And sometimes those become a challenge, but with a lot of the tools that you have available, you can easily segregate that information and develop baseline reporting. So users can budget for new hires under generic grades, labor categories, time cards, group status, etc. We can also customize web forms to do items or mirror the process that you're currently engaging in, and even provide some enhancement on that front. The impact of these new additions, changes can be viewed as in another form for total budgets, headcount. You get reporting not only from the input side, but other valuable reporting comparing actuals to plan and forecast. So the additional calculations associated with that, I think I touched upon it earlier. All these calculations in the indirect labor and even direct to a certain extent in developing your labor standards, but they all have their thresholds and cap amounts. So some of these are pretty daunting if you're managing this out of an Excel spreadsheet. You can only get it to a certain point, and then the cost benefit's just not there. So with our ability, we can not only use those drivers centrally, but we can generate very complex calculations based on grade levels and the employee mix that you have within your organization. For example, 401k, FICA, SUTA, FUTA, holidays, tuition reimbursement, medical, dental, union, non-union, all of those items kind of figure into your calculation, accruals, and the accuracy of your financial information provided. What I'll do now is hand it over to Sriram Sharma, who will go over the case study, and eventually we'll take the application.
Thank you, Matt, for such a wonderful description about indirect labor. As Matt earlier mentioned that your indirect labor budget is more on kind of a driver based. So what we can help with is we can customize these drivers not only at a centralized or global area, but also at a local area. So that means for a particular department, if you have different rates rolling up, you can use local drivers, or you can use a global driver for 401k matchup or 401k thresholds, that kind of thing. So to talk about more, let me talk about a case study. This is indirect labor budgeting that we did at one of our clients in Farmingdale, New York. This client is a government contractor and producing military as well as surveillance and defense equipment. They already had Hyperion Planning 11113 up and running, and also they were doing their indirect budgeting and planning in Cognos, and which was kind of taking a lot of time as well as was not accurate when they were performing it. So we went over there, we looked at their indirect budget process, understood their entire process, how they deal with their indirect budgeting, and what are other areas where we can help them. Then we moved their Hyperion 11113 application to PBCS, also created an indirect labor application, which was kind of feeding out budget and your plan information for indirect labor for the next year by 80 or 90% of your actuals, and then based on users' input, things were rolled out and submitted to the upper management. Their Hyperion version was kind of old, and it was almost 5 versions behind the scene. So we implemented 11113 with the latest version, so no capex. No capex involvement. It was just more on kind of operating expense where they had just to buy the licenses instead of going with servers and investing in them. We implemented FDME. So this was a data management tool which was helping us to load up information from their e-business suite as well as Ulti Pro as well as from ADP to PBCS application. Benefit of doing this PBCS implementation, the client was their budget cycle almost reduced from 2 months to 2 weeks. The reporting time was increased. So I would say ROI for this project was they had 50% reduction in their time. Faster data retrieval, users were able to make modifications or data mapping changes as new members were added to their ERP system. So as we move ahead, let's talk about what is first PBCS. As all of you know that Oracle's best product, Hyperion Planning, it's almost now 11-12 years old. So what Oracle did is it came up with a cloud version of same best tool, Hyperion Planning, and that is called as Planning and Budgeting Cloud Service. So this is the first Planning and Budgeting Cloud Service product on cloud by Oracle. It's readily available, no installation, nothing is required, no server side is required. Comes with predefined Oracle Identity Manager as well as data management for interaction with this cloud server. Easily, readily available with integration with Microsoft Office products such as your Excel, Word, PowerPoint. To talk about what are the other features that you will get if you go with a PBCS environment. The first main feature that you get is you get 2 environments, that is pre-prod and prod. Each environment supports a single application with 3 BSO plan types and 4 ASO plan types. So in total you can have 7 plan types. The space available for your data files is around 150 gigs, and that's more than enough looking at your annual as well as your strategic plan. The current version of PBCS doesn't have the pre-module model that is available on your on-premise. That's your workforce planning, project planning module. As well as Oracle provides discount to the people who are kind of migrating from on-premise to cloud, as it is more focused on cloud. Some of the benefits that you will be getting with PBCS is, first, and the major benefit is, it's irrelevant of server. So that means you don't need to invest on server, no IT maintenance, as well as no need of upgrading the servers or the planning version again and again every year. That is whole taken care by Oracle. So you can expense this out as this project as OPEX expense instead of a CAPEX infrastructure investment. Time, generally 6 to 7 weeks are required just for the installation and configuration of the server. That is already cut down from this. So it's fast, reliable, easy to stand up. So you can have some basic functionality running in 4 to 6 weeks. Infrastructure maintenance, no need of IT, as I mentioned, that Oracle takes care of all the patching, upgrading, as well as your data backups. So that's a major advantage, as it is more finance tool compared to IT. Reporting capabilities, as with the new version continuously coming up, you have functionalities there where you can create on-fly data forms in Excel, and that forms can be directly saved in your application. Data load tool, world-class ERPI with ODI, that's your FDME, Financial Data Quality Management Enterprise Edition, is available with this, as well as it's really simple tool, easy to learn, no learning curves, no training required, as well as the help that is available, it's kind of intelligent help. So if you are stuck somewhere, if you click, it will provide help for regarding that point. If you go to the next one, you will see that this is a generic architecture of your PBCS environment, where you can have n number of sources that can be any of your ERP system, ranging from PeopleSoft, SAP, e-business suite, or simple Excel files. They are loaded through the cloud with the utility that is available from PBCS side, that's your EPM Automate. And once that is on the cloud, the integrated tool, that is your FDME, will map it according to the requirement. So what does this tool gives advantages is, if you have multiple source systems and you want to have everything mapped to a single chart of account or a single application, this tool will be capable of handling that. You can perform your plan, budget, reports, all this in PBCS application, and then finally users can report it in Excel or predefined skeleton reports that are your FR board book reports. With this, I will hand it over to Shreyas to walk us through the demonstration of PBCS application.
Thank you, Sriram. So this is a sample demo application in the Oracle Cloud environment. Oracle has a demo application called Vision, and they have some of the features designed to showcase the capabilities of this tool. So we log into the planning workspace. This workspace is your single web interface where you can log into where you can reach your planning PBCS application, as well as the data management, which is the FDME tool that Sriram just explained to us. Along with that, we can also reach the calculation manager and other such Oracle features. Now, to start the PBCS application, we click on Launch Application. And so the first thing you will notice here is it always goes to a task list. Now, this task list is a very useful feature in Oracle PBCS, it is extremely user-friendly, and it can be customized based on your company's individual requirements. We can have multiple tasks, and they can further be nested based on the requirements of your company. And depending on what task each user needs to do, they can be assigned to a certain task list. Now, let's say you have one user who is only in charge of the operating forecast. Now, he's going to see only the operating forecast. He's not going to see the other options. So it's going to be very simple for him to go in, do what's required for him. Now, so the user is going to log in. We can have multiple tasks involved. So just to give you an example, so let's start with the headcount and salary forecast. So on this task, it is going to open a web form. So each task can take you to either a web form, a report, or a business rule based on what the requirement is. So initially, we'll have the users go in, view the numbers in the web forms, make some changes. And here we can also demonstrate the revenue, the driver-based calculations that Matt talked to us earlier. And we'll also see some powerful PBCS features where you can input numbers at a higher level, and they get split equally among the months. So it really makes it easy for the user. Apart from that, once you enter data and you save it, you'll see that the numbers get updated, and you have certain we can set up certain calculations running behind based on your company's requirements. And just to show you an example here, we have a headcount, average salary, and which will give you the total salary for that department. So these are just sample applications, sample examples for you, but there are many more complex applications that can be done that is suited for your needs. Some of the other features with PBCS is, apart from putting numbers, the users can go in and make some comments. These comments will keep track of the user who made the comment along with the date. Just to show you guys, you can make a test comment, and the system is going to store who made the comment and the date. And similarly, the users can go in and add some attachments and lock certain cells. So there are many such features that PBCS has, which can improve your budgeting cycle. So once the forms are done, the users can go in and see their report. So again, just as I mentioned, you can have the task list point to a report, and once we click on that, it's going to open a report in another tab for us. Give it a second. Now these reports are the FR financial reporting reports that are pre-built and standard reports that users can run and retrieve live data from. And these can be formatted, and we can also include charts and figures in there, your company logo, and so on.
And we only scratch the surface of the capabilities of PBCS. All right, now if anyone has some questions, we'll open it up. Okay, so we have a first question in, and it's, how do I handle project planning by headcount?
Let me take that up. So this cloud product from Oracle doesn't support project planning, but there is another cloud product from Oracle, that's your PBCS, that's your Enterprise Planning and Budgeting Cloud Service, which comes with a pre-built project planning module, and that can be linked up with your headcount So I can track down projects by head count. If the project is rolling up into different months, what is the total number of head counts working on the project? What is the costing of the project by head count? How is the head count maintained? Is there any person who is over allocated, or is there any person who is under allocated? That kind of tracking can be done through a different module called Enterprise Planning and Budgeting Cloud Service.
Thanks, Sri. Next question in is, can you have a custom CapEx workforce budget in the same application?
Yeah, I can take this one. So we went over this in our presentation. Oracle supports, PBCS supports 3 BSO plan types and 4 ASO plan types. So using that functionality, ability of PBCS, we can have multiple, one of the additional plan types apart from your indirect budgeting to do the CapEx and workforce planning for you.
Thank you, Shreya. Next question in is, can you bridge indirect labor with an operational plan?
Bridging an indirect labor with an operational plan can sometimes be tricky, but as I talked about earlier in the slide, that's when you understand how the details flow into, a department and or a segment, so that you understand what level you need to look at this and then drill into the details. So the answer is yes, but you need to define and understand those intersection points at the beginning of the process.
All right, we're going to end the questions there. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to us. Our main email is sales@saturninfotech.com, or you can reach out to one of the presenters that conducted this presentation. And feel free to check our YouTube channel. You'll be getting an email with a copy of the recording of this webinar, as well as the webinar slides, which are on our LinkedIn page.